Welcome to Turfs on. I'm gonna have to cut that part out, huh? Welcome, welcome to Synced on Air. I'm your host, Angelique Robb, and our podcast is brought to you by Turfs Up Radio. Today, I have Brant Wichman with me today. Um, Welcome, Brant. How are you?
I'm great, Angelique. I'm doing great. Thanks for asking.
Good, good. And your company that you've launched is called Customer Insight. Is that right?
That is correct.
Well, awesome. Well, before we get into that, why don't we just start with, how you got into our industry and
Yes.
then we can dive right into what you're building or
Yeah,
built.
perfect. No, that sounds great. I'm actually in Lincoln, Nebraska. I grew up in a small town in northeast Nebraska. Grew up in a small town doing sports, grew up farming, was always involved in the manual labor side of things. And kind of wanted to come back to farm was my idea. And my dad told me to get a different major just in case, things change. And
Yes.
so I pursued a career in landscaping via somebody back home. I got a summer job with her and really took off. Went to the college, University of Nebraska Lincoln, landscape design major. I met somebody down here and I stayed in Lincoln and been married since. Uh, my junior year, I believe it was, of college, I started my landscaping company. I had some off time, so I would do little jobs and do snow removal over the winter between classes. And then my goal was always to make it a high-end landscaping company and kind of just use the cash you make and keep growing it and growing it and growing it. And we are now 13 years later from starting that. And we are much bigger than I thought I would ever be. And yeah, successful, killing it, loving it. In fact,
And
I was just telling you earlier, just landing more jobs for the fall and already into the spring. So just very blessed. I can't stress enough how lucky we are.
and so is it because you're a landscape design major? So you always started it with design and build? Is that
Yep.
what your company has always done and still does, or do you do maintenance as
Yep.
well?
Yep. So we do some maintenance. Our key demographic client is high-end landscaping. I actually hired another designer from the university that he does 3D renderings in landscape design. And so I don't have to do them and pull all-nighters anymore. So that's pretty nice. Um, that was fun. And then now, so we have an install crew, a couple install crews and a designer, and I get to manage more. And that's really where I saw the starting out and even to now, where I saw the need and the necessity for this new company I created called Customer Insight. I mean, we have a lot of great clients. We're very fortunate here. Um, it's just been brought up to me. I mean, I had the idea a while ago and told a friend, and then came back and forth and kept having this kind of reoccur. Like, I need to do this. I need to do this. And I was busy with everything else. We have kids and we have, a company to run. And I started a spray foam company and then a mowing company and then sold those. And so there's like all these different things going on. I didn't really have the time until I actually went to a landscape conference and told a couple people of it. And they were in New Jersey, they were in Ohio, and they were just saying, and all across the country, and they're saying, like, you're in a small town of Lincoln, Nebraska. Like, you see your clients all the time. Like, you can ask two people and see if they're worth working for or not. We have no idea. We'll never see our clients again. And so it really struck me how much more it's needed, even in bigger cities. Where Lincoln, Nebraska, it's 250,000 people, it's just a big small town. We can just ask the neighbor on the guy at the
As
gas
the
station, do you know Angelique? Like, oh yeah, yeah. No, great person to work for, though. You'll get paid, you'll be fine. Versus big city, he just said, like, they'll come into our
we don't
office,
know.
visit 4 other offices right beside us, and we have no idea. So I wanted to create something. I guess, Angelique, my thought was homeowners can background us how many different platforms? You have Angie's List, you have Better Business Bureau, you have Google, Facebook reviews, all the different things. So going into it, let's just go for a restaurant, right? If you want to go out to eat at a restaurant here in Lincoln, hey, let's go review it. You've never been to Lincoln, I assume, and you're like, hey, I have
Look
no
at
idea
the
is Laszlo's any
reviews.
good? And you look at the
Yeah.
reviews, like, oh, there's one star, but all these fives. Okay, that's great. It's worth our shot. Same thing with landscaping companies. So I wanted something that we could have as contractors to have information on our client without them knowing about it and before we even show up on the job. Not necessarily to deter people from doing a job for somebody, but just to know how they approach it. Are they going to have enough money? Do we need to consider financing? Do we need to get money down? How are we going to approach this? Or as you know, like you go up to the landscaping project and somebody tells you and they say, yeah, I'd like to do, $30,000 job. So we do a design. It's a great job, right? We're blessed. Like, great, $30,000 job. Two other guys do $100,000 design. They're like, yeah, theirs is much better. I'm like, yeah, but you told us $30,000. So that's what we
Yeah,
say.
yeah,
Where on this app,
that's a
one of the
good point.
metrics, yeah, one of the metrics we can provide is like discretionary spending. So it tells what a homeowner's discretionary spending is. And so if their discretionary spending is 250,000 annually, what do they really want? Let's have a about that. Do you really want the $10,000 patio? Are you looking for a covered structure? Like, what do you want to feel when you're in this space? And so it was those issues of not getting paid, not knowing anything as a background that I really wanted to conquer. So that's kind of how this whole thing started.
Well, I'm even wondering in a small town, you know, you may not know those things. So, either. I mean,
Yes.
I
And there's some things, you know, people can have big paychecks and still live bigger paycheck to bigger paycheck. But it's about how they spend the money, how they invest their money, what's their credit score, like all these things we through this application can provide contractors so
yeah.
they can get a profile of the homeowner. And
Is it legal?
I've been asked that question numerous times. What we do, Angelique, is exactly the same thing as if you get something in the mail that says you've been pre-qualified. If
Okay.
you've been pre-qualified for this credit card. You've been pre-approved to get a loan for this new skid loader. Those companies using the same metrics we use.
Okay.
Um, the only thing we can't do is we can't sell to homeowners. So we sell B2B. As long as you're a business, makes it a little more private. Honestly, makes it a little edge up for us contractors to be able to have that. But yeah, totally legal. You'd be surprised the information that is out there. But
Oh
yeah, it
goodness.
gives us a leg
Okay.
up. So
Yeah, maybe.
got some new things coming
Don't
down
be
the
worried.
pipeline.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Well, okay, so gosh, you've said a lot. Can we just go back? What's the name of your landscape company? So you have a design and build company and a mowing company separate? Is that what you said?
Well,
Or
so my landscaping company is Cutting Edge Landscapes Design
okay.
Build. Um, I started a mowing company. I purchased one with clients that lasted about a year. I realized I really do not like mowing. I don't like the repetitiveness of it. I just can't do
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
And so I actually sold that to another colleague. Went really well. I'm kind of a jack of all trades. I like doing things, right? And so I've actually bought a spray foam rig, and for a couple years, we did spray foam installation on whole buildings and offices and shops. I
Okay.
needed to do it for my place, so I started making money doing that. In our area, the margins started falling on that, so I exited that and sold that to somebody that was a little ways away. We did okay on that, kind of honing in on really what I want to do. And
Yeah.
mistakes are okay as long as you can make money doing them. So.
Exactly, exactly. Well, and it's good to find, sometimes you don't know what you want to do until you test other things. And it sounds like you've actively been doing that. Try this, try that. I think
Yes, and
that's
it,
exciting.
100%. Like I have my wife and I blessed. We have four little kids from 9 to 4 months. So we're
Oh my goodness. And you're not busy enough with them
yeah,
and
just
one
added to
business.
the pile. Added to the pile. But it's fun coaching them in sports and stuff, and we love it. But when I started the company, just like any company, 5, 6, 7, 8 years is very, 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 very tough. You can get through those years, you can turn a profit, you're building your company, you're updating trucks, updating equipment. Until I keep saying it's about year 10 to 11, and I'll even argue some 12 and 13, but you can start seeing a shift of, okay, we're upgraded equipment, we're not breaking down as much. We have our own shop, we have our own
Mhm.
facilities, like all these things come into play. And then you feel like you can take a breath. Before I hired a designer, before I had great foreman, it was a lot harder, and trying to make every
Yeah.
dollar match and every dollar count. So we've got to a good place where we're at right now, and I have great people that work with me. and it makes life a lot easier.
And so, yeah, sorry, I'm delving a little bit into your business just now, but I think that's a great story in itself. And what do you think were the, for those businesses, let's say they are at their 5-year mark, and what were the things that you did or didn't do that helped you, keep going and keep growing?
Yeah, great. That's a really good question. I don't know. I mean, I feel like I don't have all the answers. A lot of trial and error. I guess just a couple of key things that I enjoyed starting out in college. One crucial thing I did before I started my company, I actually interviewed other companies. Um, Typically successful people will spill their secrets because they don't see anybody as a threat. They're successful.
Mm-hmm.
I ask questions like, what's the best piece of equipment you ever bought? What's the worst decision you made? What do you do? How do you, and learning from other people's mistakes is huge. It's actually
Yeah.
a lot cheaper. Uh, but
Yeah.
I guess that was big. Learning from my own mistakes obviously is huge, but owning up to those mistakes and not just passing the buck to an employee or passing it to a different company or the weather, owning up to it and saying that's on me. I screwed up. We need to fix it. That's a big deal. One of the biggest things I really think is reinvesting in myself. Um, any company can make really good money. It's how they distribute that money. Um, my wife is a teacher, math teacher for high school. It's great to have her income, especially when I didn't really have income coming in for the first 3, 4, 5 years. Uh, that's been a very good mainstay for us, but we lived inside of our means. We didn't go get a whole bunch of loans. We worked to pay everything off. And it can be frustrating sometimes as a business doing that. Um, hey, let's get a newer piece of equipment. Well, that's $40,000. Well, $40,000, we could have go on some pretty nice trips and get a nice car and go buy some nicer
Yeah.
clothes. I mean, you can do that. But the biggest thing I say to anybody is like 5 years is just keep going, keep pushing. After 5 years means you've created an established business. People are knowing of you, you're getting referrals as long as you've done a great job of it, and just don't stop. You'll get there. You figured out the money side of it, you figured out the cash flow side of it, because typically you won't make it in 3 years if you can't. And then once you figure that out, it's a lot of it is making really, really good industry experts or industry friends, honestly. One of my
Mm-hmm.
supply houses, they're great people too. So it actually happened to work out. They're great people. I made friends with them. And every year for Christmas, I give them, there's a local meat shop near me and they do bundle packages for Christmas. And I give the couple salesmen and a couple of the owners that package. It's $110 each, worth every penny, because they do great for me. They give me referrals. Same thing with a builder that we work with and their foreman, like we do the same thing. It's giving back. I think that's been lost in translation. I think everybody just expects something. And I mean, I probably spend over $1,000 every year during Christmas to give those packages out. My mechanic at the shop gets one. It's something little, and it seems like a lot of money when you pay $1,000 or $1,500. And I don't do it necessarily for the give back, but it'll come because they think that was the nicest thing. He didn't have to do that. None of the other
Mm-hmm.
contractors do that. When somebody comes and wants a referral, who would you do? Hey, go talk to Cutting Edge. They're great people. Hey, here's a couple other businesses too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, who would you use? Like, oh, any of them, but Cutting Edge, they do a pretty good job. And so doing that same thing with your clients, some of your bigger, better clients. A lot of those are just little, I mean, I don't know if that answers the question entirely, but it's just little tricks of the trade, I think, that can keep you in business and don't stop. I think a lot of businesses fail because they stop, mismanage money or stop. Just don't stop. You'll get there.
Great advice. Great. Well, yeah, thank you for that. And then, of course, we still have customer insight to
Oh,
to delve into. So tell us a little bit. You've kind of hinted about it.
yeah.
Tell the audience what it is that you built, so
Yeah.
we can, yeah, visualize
Yeah.
it.
So Customer Insights an app. It's also, we have a web portal online. I always tell people it's easiest to start on your computer on it to log in. It's just as simple as the stress that we all deal with this person couldn't afford it. This person wanted the world. This person wanted, I just got off a walkthrough meeting with a new client of ours, and she said they wanted a $500,000 job. They couldn't afford it, and they were getting stressed out every time they wanted to add things. She told them it'd be more money. And she's like, no, it's more. We don't, we looked them up. Discretionary spending, it's like 140,000. So there were things in there that just showed her that they couldn't afford it. And she said, she told them, hey, I appreciate you. We're probably just not the right fit. And so she
Okay.
walked away from that job and didn't have any stress. So what we're providing is simple things like credit score, discretionary income, how much they have at the end of the year, um, ability to pay, and all these are broke down in the app, but we're trying to solve the issue for our contractors of the stress of not getting paid,
Hmm.
the stress and anxiety of, should I bid this job? Should I even go to this job? Um,
Well,
can
we've
they
all
afford
had
this?
time wasters, I guess it's pre-qualifying leads.
Yes.
I think everywhere in the world is the same, like March comes and you actually, can't do anything except for answer the phone calls and
Yep.
the requests for work.
Yep.
But how do you know who's serious, who thinks they can get a 500,000 landscape for $5,000 or,
Yes. Well,
or
and
who, yeah.
you're 100% right. And I guess, Angelique, the best, easiest way to say it is if you got in, like you said, in March, if you had 3 leads and you could look them up and you want to do high-end landscaping, you want to do a pool, all this stuff. They all want the same thing, but one of their spending amounts was 800,000 annually. The other two were 100,000. In
Mhm.
a nutshell, who should you prefer? Who should you pursue first? Not saying the other ones can't afford it, not saying it wouldn't be good to pursue. You still have to vet through all the other numbers and your own vetting. Um, but I'm probably going to call that person back right away. And I'm
Mm.
going to be at their house and I'm going to give them exactly what they want because that can lock in 3 months worth of work for me. Um,
And
yeah,
it
and
can
just saves you
ultimately
time.
save you time. Yeah. That you're just saying that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or even just,
Prioritizing your time is something, and I think we're all guilty of that. I remember one year we started charging for our designs. We were doing them free before that. We were charging for our designs, but we still weren't covering our costs on them. And we were like, wow, we did 100 designs last year. And then you're like, oh, wait, we can only build 30 a year. So we actually were losing money. It felt good that we had all these people that were paying for designs, but it was still a loss leader for us. Um,
yeah.
and so it was like a realization, well, we don't want to do every design for every person that calls. We can't
Mhm.
afford to.
Yeah.
We have to see what we can build and then go, okay, we want to do twice as many because we have a 50% build rate, you know,
Yeah. Yep.
and
And that
and
also
make the
comes,
numbers make sense.
for sure, that also comes back to the same thing you were asking about, how to build your company, how to do it right. It's find your niche, find exactly what you're good at. What do you want to be good at? Do you want to be the best mower in town? Then mow the best damn lawns, make sure they're fertilized perfectly, make sure they water them, call them back, send them up on an email plan, hey, stop watering because we had rain, and provide them great customer service. It doesn't matter your price. If you want
Yeah.
to be the cheapest installer for low, not lower end, but
But a simple
150.
patio,
Yeah, or a
maybe.
simple patio, or simple landscape for curb appeal. You want to be Curb Appeal LLC. Go ahead and do it. And you want to do $2,500 jobs, do it. Figure out a way to make it quicker, easier. Find what you like to do. And the same thing, Angelique, we do what you sounds like you did. Hey, we want to work on the higher end jobs. We want to we don't want to waste our time, but we also don't want to waste our customers' time. If our customer
Yeah.
is coming to us and our customer says, hey, Angelique, we want this, blah, 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 and you're like, great, you do a design, and it's $300,000, like, we had 40 grand. Like, I
It's
mean, I
just a
guess we'll
waste of
pay,
both of your time.
yeah,
Yeah.
we'll pay you $400 for this pretty design that we can never afford. So it's not only to save
Yeah.
the contractor, it's ultimately to save the homeowner. And And that's what I'm all about. Just pursue the lead or don't pursue the lead. And even if you're not going to pursue it, make sure to make that phone call to them and saying, hey, we're busy and I just don't feel like this may be the right fit for us. Appreciate your time a lot. But here's a couple references we can give out.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a great message. Figuring out, because you can't be everything to every client. And even if you are, as a business owner, accepting every job right now, you probably still know where your sweet spot is and where you want to work. So, yeah.
It really comes down to what you enjoy for one. And then two, I mean, I always say it's the reality of it, Angelique. It comes down to your margins. It comes down to what you're good at. And I feel like we have it down to what we're good at. It's patios, fire pits, waterfalls, new planting installs. That's what we're great at. If you put us on the mowing, I could maybe figure it out, but I'm not good at it. I know other guys that are great at it. We're not going to benefit the customer. There's other
Yeah.
people that are great at other things. That's fine. That's okay. Do what you know you're good at and knock it out of the park. I mean, that's a essentially every business needs to be. But some people find out, but I love this, but you're losing money. That's fine.
Yeah, I know.
You
Do
go,
you
yeah, but
realize
it's so
that?
much fun to sit on a mower. It costs $20,000 and you're mowing for 30 bucks a lawn and you got 3 employees. Like, so there's things like that. That's fine, but know your worth and even talk to other people in the industry to know, hey, what are you getting paid to mow this lawn? What are you getting paid for this? There's
Yeah.
no secrets out there. There really aren't. I used to scarcity mindset. There's really not any secrets.
And I don't think there's a scarcity in our industry. I think it's about, yeah, knowing your worth and yeah,
You
doing
know,
true by your part of the business. Well, okay, so back to customer insight. So you let me log into this. And so like I thought it was really neat that you could go in, you can put in any address. You can, and of course you said, I said the first thing I did is I looked at my own address and see what
everybody
people are
does that.
saying.
And so same thing. You log in, you create your login, you name your company. You log in, it looks like Google Maps. You type in an address, whoever you want to. And 99% of the people, Angelique, did the same thing. You're like, oh, let's look up ourselves.
Yeah,
So they look
yeah.
up themselves, whatever. We give you right now, we have a free trial, so you can get 3 free houses just to try it out. Everybody looks up themselves. They look up a relative or a past client, and then they look up a prospective client. And it just is like, oh, okay. And so when you look up each person, what our customers are going to see is the ability to pay score. And by clicking on that, it'll give you every breakdown. It takes all these different metrics and tells you, are these people going to be able to pay you on a scale between 1 and 1,000?
Hmm.
Um, our color coding system is very simple. Green is good, yellow is middle of the road, red is bad. Um, we
Good,
tried to break it
nice and
down. I'm
easy.
a contractor. I don't like looking into stuff. I like to make it easy.
Yeah.
Um, and we do credit score. It's a rounded credit score between both homeowners that live there. And then in the same respect, the credit score is a rounded credit score. We have found that it can be 5 or 6 points off. This
Oh,
isn't
that's
a credit.
nothing though.
I
That's,
know.
I mean,
That's
come
it.
on. If you can get that close, I think that's winning.
Yes. And that's all we need, right? Like, we get this information from accredited bureau. And so that is validated with us. We did a lot of research to make sure it was right. In fact, I had an in-law that told me it was off by 2 points. It's wrong. And I said, well, what's your husband's credit score? Because it's an average. She goes, well, that's true. That I don't know. So again, if we're off 200 points, let me know. But no, it's been very accurate. And all this goes back to when you type in this customer's address, they don't know it. It doesn't affect their credit score.
Hmm.
It doesn't, it doesn't tell them, hey, Brant with Cutting Edge Landscapes just looked you up. They have no idea. And so that's, to me, that's the key metric of knowing all these numbers. You can look up 100 people in a week and know, do you want to pursue one? Do you want to pursue 20?
Well, and it's like what you said at the beginning, like everybody gets to view our businesses on Google. And I don't know if you've had this, but my business in Scotland, we have had people put a bad review on there because we started their job a month late. And, no matter how many times we updated them, we still got a bad review. And you go, well,
Yeah.
that's not very fair, but, you know,
Yes.
you know, I I would have liked to grade them back
Yes.
as
Yes.
clients. So
Yes. We're not in Scotland yet, but we'll get there.
okay, okay, yeah.
Just United States. We'll get there, Angelique. No, it's the same thing. And with all these metrics, we also have it as this grows, it will be, it's going to blow up. It's a matter of when. And when this grows, we actually have on there that you can rate yourself. I mean, you could rate every one of your clients of a 1 to 5 star when you're done reviewing them. And we'll probably prompt it later on, 3, 4 months later. Hey, would you mind just giving a star rating? I don't want comments, none of that. It's just 1 to 5 star. How are they to work with? So hopefully in the future, you will look up my address and you will see 6 ratings of a 5 star or 83 ratings of a 1.34 star. And know, okay, well, I don't want to work with them when I do, but here's the numbers as well. So we'll actually have both metrics.
That's amazing. And so when did you s- I think you said you were working on this for quite a while, or you had the idea for quite a while.
Yeah.
When did you launch it officially?
Yep. So I've had the idea for probably 5, 6 years. We started working on it the last couple years, and it was launched the week after my son was born. So in May, middle of
Oh
May.
my
So
goodness.
when I say add to the pile, Angelique, I say just add it to the pile. We're
So
fine.
you weren't helping feed and care for no, I'm just joking.
Not really. And trying to
Oh,
run a landscaping company in May as well isn't the easiest thing. The kids getting off for the summer for school. I'm fortunate. My wife's awesome. She'd have 100 babies if I didn't stop her. She's so good with kids. It makes life a lot easier. So
okay.
she she spearheaded that side of it. But
Okay.
no, I mean it's been a crazy launch and it's been great. We've had a lot of great feedback. Actually just talked to somebody in the solar industry yesterday that said, dude, the solar industry needs this. We go off credit
Oh,
scores. And so that's what the metric they need. So it's crazy how it's already started just bouncing around. So yeah, it just launched a couple months ago. Feedback's been awesome. We've had a lot of users sign up, and I know it's a crazy time for landscapers right now, but I see it even being crazier here this fall.
well, that's what
Planning
I was
on,
thinking. I was
yep,
thinking fall would be when you would have more signups and over the winter when people
yep,
planning for next year. So,
yes, for sure. And a lot of people are so busy. And just like we said, I don't care big or small, what kind of landscaping company you are, you have accounts receivable, accounts payable right now. And you're just, how can we get this to October?
yeah.
Just keep going and get it there. But yeah, we're actually attending the GIE Expo. I talked to you about that.
Yes.
I know
Equip, expo.
Equip,
Is that?
Equip. Oh yeah, that's right. It's Equip now. I go back to when we went to it a while ago.
That's
Equip
okay.
Expo, and then also maybe getting in with a couple paver companies to their trade shows. And I know in Atlanta in January we're planning on being at Turfs Up and Sync Live, and
Awesome.
hopefully
Great to
get a
hear
booth
it.
there and a speaking engagement. It'd be. I think a lot of people understand this when they see it. Same as you. Once you
Hmm.
logged in, I've been doing some walkthroughs with people and seeing their clients and giving them the breakdown. Here's how I read it. And they go, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like once you see it. So I think that is going to be huge, getting in front of people at these shows where you're just walking and saying, all right, hey, give me an address. Pull it out of the crowd. Give me an address. We'll break this client down. And people are like,
Yeah.
oh, you just anybody? It's like, yeah, yeah, give it to me.
Anybody. Yes. Well, and you bring up a good point. It's not just for landscaping. This is for any home service provider.
I actually just talked to a financial advisor the other day that said we only deal with people at an investment starting at 50,000. So if their discretionary spending amount was less than 50,000, he goes, it wouldn't be worth because he has this area of 2 hours around him that he works with. He goes, that wouldn't be worth my
Okay.
2 hour drive. He goes, and I have other people that I can refer to them that are starting out that will work with them. He said, but for my
Ah,
demographic. So yeah, I mean,
wow.
things are being presented to me through other people that, hey, we use this. They tell the friend calls me and says, can we do a walkthrough? And I'm all ears for anybody that wants to sit down and do a walkthrough. And it can definitely change your business. And I was just talking to a lady yesterday, actually, that She said, so Brand, if I find out their spending amount, and instead of doing $150,000 patio, I can sell a $250,000 patio. What I'm paying you for this, it's like made it for the next 20 years. Yeah, yeah, you're selling it for me. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah,
So
exactly.
it's not even as much about not getting, the right client for you. It's getting the right client for you. And
Yeah,
I used to never do any backgrounding. Now I have this, and you approach your estimates a lot differently with this technology.
yeah, yeah. Because sometimes you can go, oh, you know, I'd really like to charge an uplift of this, but then you get stressed about, but I need my hopper full, my schedule full. I have a gap in my schedule, so I'll undercut myself just to
Yep.
get the job. And
Yep.
maybe you didn't need to do that.
Yeah. I'll
And
tell you, I had a really quick story that relates to that. So obviously I've been using this. I had a past client, loved the work that we did for a drainage system years ago. Um, kind of became friends. We see each other every once in a while. Remember, big small town. But I did a job for him. He wanted a patio, small patio. It's $45,000, and it was going to work on a space, and it was going to be awesome. I gave him the bid at 6 o'clock at night. He said, "No, Brent, we can't afford this. There's no way. I'll let him sleep on it." Well, on the app, his discretionary spending amount annually was $280,000. Everything else was
oh, wow.
green. He was top tier, everything. He saves. He's also a financial planner. He saves. He has the money. He's making really good money. He says we can't afford. Okay, I know you can. I'm gonna let you sleep on it. He said, call me in the morning. I said, sounds good. I will. I waited a little bit. I waited till about 9:30. He calls me. All right, Brent, I've thought about it. Can you get it done by July 28th? And will you sit down and talk about financial advising with me after this? I said, yeah, it's sold. He goes, all right, let's do it. So by having that information, I wasn't scared to give that bid. I wasn't trimming it down because, oh, it was 45,000, but I could maybe do it for 44, maybe 43, because I need this job. It was, I know he can afford it. It's still a decision whether he wants to do it or not. And maybe he doesn't want that. Maybe he doesn't want to spend that. I knew he could afford it. So I approached that bid differently. I wouldn't have
Yeah.
got that job, or I would have designed something a lot smaller scale, probably
Or you could have
profited.
cut your profit off and then kick yourself later for doing that.
Yes. I could have easily lost $3,000 of profit or 4,000 that I have now, because of course we got the job done by July 28th.
Yeah.
But we squeezed him in. He's a great person to work with too. That helps. But because we did it just right there, it's probably $4,000 that we acquired the job. I didn't get hasty when he said he can't afford it. I let him sit on it overnight. He thought about it. I'm like, he'll do good work. We did it. They loved it. They had a party the next day and loved it. So it's just all those things. Like it's just fun. It's fun for me, and it's fun to hear other stories of other people. I get screenshots daily and say, "Hey, what these numbers mean, Brant?" And so it's a lot of fun, and they're starting to understand it more. And so I know this is going to be big. It's just a matter of getting in front of people and showing them what it is. So places like Synced, I appreciate it. Um, it
Great.
just gives it more traction.
And so I guess there's different levels that you can purchase depending on how much data you want on a monthly or yearly basis. How does that?
Yeah. So the way we do it right now, we have a couple of different options. Obviously, just like any subscription, the highest dollar amount gets you the cheapest amount per house. So
Okay.
our houses range, if you want to do a one-time purchase of 10 houses, it's like 1650 a house. Um, they can go anywhere from 1650 is the most expensive. And then if you get a subscription where you're doing 100 houses a month, that would be 799 a house. So we always tell people on average, we're at $10, $11 a house. So
Yeah.
for the amount of information, we did some surveys and other people said, well, you could charge $40, $50 for this. I would rather everybody got in front of it and downloaded every house than pick and choose which houses they want to, because I think this information is valuable. I mean, maybe I'm a bad salesman from a sales standpoint. I could make a lot more money, maybe selling it for a lot more, but I,
Well,
I like the idea of just getting in front of everybody. Let everybody use it. Let everybody sit down and get every single house.
well,
And
and like
understand
you
it, help their
said,
businesses.
like over time, the more people use it, the more we can build up that, you know, Google review system so that
Yes.
you can
Yes.
rank. the customers. And so, you've designed and built a landscape for one customer, but the next customer or next contractor is selling solar panels, like you said.
Yep.
So
Yep.
it you need a lot of data to build that up to get a better
Yes.
picture. So I think
Yep.
by keeping it reasonable, you'll have more
Yes.
clientele that way.
Yes, 100%. We already have things. We're gonna keep our client base growing. Right now, we're focused on growth. We already have things down the pipeline that, I mean, blow your mind, the information that's out there, like whether they buy high-end or store brand.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, if they have liens or lawsuits on their property, like there's so many different things that we can have, that we will dive into. My goal is to keep this sweet and simple, and then we will,
Expand.
we'll keep you on your toes, Angelique, so that way you're
Oh,
looking for
oh,
the next
oh, I'm
one and the
kind of
next one, the
nervous.
next one. That's why everybody looks up themselves first. Like, what do people look at me at? How are they gonna view me? I actually had a friend that looked up himself, sent me a screenshot. He said, "Why is this red?" I said, "That's because it says you spend a lot of damn money." And he goes, "Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right."
Yeah.
Like, he knows it. And so I will tell you, anybody that gets this technology on our website, it's customerinsight.io. At the bottom, you can fill out the form or just start your own free trial. You can email me, fill out the form, text me, call me. I'd love to sit down and walk through it with anybody, to really show them it, because I think that does it. We can just make it
Yeah.
quick, 20 minutes. I'll even throw in free credits if you do a walkthrough, I guess. So why not? Look up some more houses.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but by having this, it becomes addicting, and then like you want to look up the next customer. Because like, well, what if? And
Yeah.
once you see it, you get those customers. I mean, it becomes common sense, I guess.
And part of your process to, yeah,
Yes.
your screening
Yes. And
pre-qual.
yes. Yeah, I'm excited for it. I use it. Obviously, that's why I started it. I wanted to use it for me. Obviously, I want to sell it, but with my landscaping side of it, I mean, I could be lying, but I truly say it's been a game changer for the way we bid jobs. And I will tell you, we get some numbers that's like, oh, they're middle of the road. That's fine. It is what it is. I spent $10 on like a middle of the road. But you spend $10 on somebody that is like, hey, credit is king is their demographic. Or the next person says diamonds and pearls. Like, all right, now I know their demographic. So
Yeah.
I encourage anybody that does want to feel free, customerinsight.io. Or if you do create a login, look up the discretionary spending index. So even any
Okay.
of the people, you can go back in your folders and look at this discretionary spending index. That's the best one for me. If you click on that, it'll give you information and scroll down. It'll tell you their demographic. I've seen so many things as wealthiest retirees, the lifestyles, diamonds and pearls, house of cards, relies on aid. So like all these
Oh,
different, yeah, but
okay.
they can tell you who this person is
Yeah.
before with all the others. So your listeners, I encourage you to do that. You get 3 free ones. Just go out and register anyhow. Doesn't cost you anything. I'm not gonna blow you up, but it's discretionary spending index, Angelique. Go back and look at the ones you've downloaded and look at
Definitely.
those.
Definitely. Well, and what I'll do is I'll put the website in the show notes and
Cool.
your details, if that's okay, and
All you
have
want. I love it.
people reach out. And yeah, look forward to, I'll see you at Equip first, but then
Yes, for
yeah,
sure.
see you at Sync Live too.
Yes, that'd be
Awesome.
awesome. Well, thank you, Angelique. I really appreciate it. It's always fun talking to you. You're very easy to talk to. You make it
Oh,
easy.
thank you. Oh. Well, this has
Appreciate
been
it.
fun and I love what you're doing. I think, it's great when business owners turn their hand to improving the industry. And that's what gets me fired up about our industry is we're all, you know, figuring it out and then making it easier for other people. So thank you.
So
Thanks.
thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay. Talk to you again soon.
Yeah, have a good day.
Okay, you too. Bye.
Bye.